One more second.
Yeah, mine. Oh, it doesn't buzz you and I though, right? If we're together. No, it's your coach. But mine hasn't been buzzing. You did charge it.
All right, Michael Grady, you can start us off here.
Hey, Coach, good to talk to you again. Just want an idea of what today's workout looked like and what you went through with the guys.
Yeah, Michael, we started off by just kind of reviewing some of our defensive concepts, making sure that everyone has a good understanding of terminology, places to be on the floor, kind of open discussion, just to continue to create an atmosphere where input is important. And then we got up and down a little bit again today. So really good day in the gym, better pace today, and you can already see the conditioning levels start to increase.
Greg Logan.
Jacque, would you mind giving us some idea of who was with the first unit today? And also, if I could ask, do you have some idea when you're going to start getting some of these new guys into the workouts?
Yeah, Greg, we went with the same teams as the other day, so same lineup, and thought about just given the games were pretty competitive, so we just kept it the same. It also works with how we do our correctives and lift before just the matchups kind of work, so we did that again. We'll continue to change it up as the weeks go along and we get more players to be on the roster. And that part we're still waiting on, and no updates for you. And they're just still going through the process, so don't have a timetable for you.
Brian Lewis.
Hey, Jacque. How you doing?
Good, Brian. How you doing?
All right. Following up on Greg's question, I'm just curious. There are reports out there that you guys are at least close to adding a player that you had in camp in preseason. I don't know if you can address him, whether that's done yet, but do you expect to be adding a fourth replacement soon? And is that either Justin Anderson, or if it's not, if you're adding this other player, is that because you have any like positive COVID tests or anybody else opting out or anybody that's unavailable?
Yeah, that's a good one. The first, no, I'm not going to mess with HIPAA violations, but that first part of it. Then the second piece is, I can't comment on guys that we actually haven't signed yet. So it makes it tough, not being secretive on my part, just being open and honest with where we are. At the end of the day, we will have a roster, and we're just kind of working through the process of getting there.
Alex Schiffer.
Hey, Jacque, how you doing?
Good, Alex. How you doing?
Not bad. I know you spent a lot of time during the hiatus kind of looking at ways to change, the scheme and find ways to put more of your fingerprints on the team, X's and O's wise. Are you still going to be able to kind of implement some of those changes now that you have an idea of what the roster looks like, or has there been so many opt-outs and some of those were too personnel tailored to where you might have to reverse course on some of that stuff you had in mind?
Yeah, they were definitely more personnel tailored, and missing some of that personnel, we had to change a few of those items for sure. As a coaching staff, we spent an extreme amount of time together kind of orchestrating what we thought the roster was going to look like and building some concepts off of that. We did have to make some adjustments, and I think the biggest adjustment we made is just streamlining things and making things more simple just because of the different bodies that we're going to have. But the hiatus plan that we had wrapped up in a nice box and bow, we won't be able to unwrap and see all of that.
Christian Winfield.
Hey, Coach, it's Christian. How are you?
Good, Christian. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for asking. Just quick question. What's been the most difficult or most challenging part of the entire transition from being in Brooklyn to now being in Orlando? What's been the biggest challenge, whether it's basketball, whether it's family, whatever it is? What's been the biggest challenge for you?
Not overthinking things. As a coach, you also a lot of times you want to have the solution, and so kind of fighting the advice monster and being okay, being curious, and talking to your players and accepting ideas, and take for today's practice plan was extremely simple. I told the coaching staff I had to fight myself for wanting to put something else in and put another play in and give the guys something different. We just spiraled, went back to some of the concepts that we had talked about 2 days ago, and we're going to get better that way.
Michael Grady.
Coach, we know what a vocal defensive anchor DeAndre is. Have you had to encourage Jarrett a little bit more in that regards, or who are some guys that you've had to talk to about being vocal on the defensive side of the ball to make up for that absence?
Yeah, Michael, that's really going to be a team effort. And part of that review today was getting guys in their specific positions, and you were calling out, starting that communication of where you were on the floor, where were you supposed to be, what are you called to the rest of the team in that defensive position. So trying to really increase that level of communication, because a lot of times it did come from DJ. So that challenge to JA is a great challenge for him. But we're going to push the entire group to help each other.
Malik Andrews.
Hey, Jacque, I was just wondering, given, different guys from various teams being vocal, both about things they appreciate in the bubble and things they would like to see improved, in your mind, what's the timeline in which that sort of feedback is sweet and cute and amusing on Instagram and social media, and at what point it needs to give way to, all right, this is our reality now, let's buckle down and focus? What's the balance there?
I think you have to, first of all, part of it for me is accepting the part of the social world that we live in, and understanding that there's a perspective, there's a narrative that can be pushed. I think at the end of the day, the NBA has the best interest of its league, which consists of the players and the staff, and any complaints that we've had that either we've taken to a representative, a liaison, taken to the league, I think they've tried to correct things. And so I think that'll be the challenge. One of my first things, I could complain right now if I really wanted to. I could complain that I have these gloves on. So that's not the way I'm asking this team to live their lives, and that's a good challenge right now. So we're going to invest, put dividends into not complaining and accepting this situation and making the most out of it.
Tom Dowd.
Hey, Jacque.
Hey, Tom.
Just following up on some of the guys that you're waiting on. They're in quarantine right now. How much are you guys just communicating with them, whether it's Zoom or whatever, just sending them info on this is what we're doing, trying to get them ready and up to speed so they can jump right in?
Yeah, we're using all levels of communication to that we can to get information to those guys, whether it is through video. Majority of that's through video, whether it is delayed or instantaneous. So we're kind of using all realms to at least get guys comfortable with seeing who they're possibly playing with, get a little grasp on what players do and some of the concepts. So yes, that's definitely a balance that we're trying to get ahead of.
Greg, go ahead.
Jacque, you have two guys for sure that are coming in that have not played it all this season. You might have a third. What is the thinking behind going for guys who are that seasoned, but actually were out of the game for many months now?
Yeah, so it's kind of twofold. You think, first of all, of getting this group that we have now, pushing them to a different level of conditioning, and hopefully they can kind of push up the entire group once we get everyone. Like you said, we'll have a couple guys that, a month ago weren't playing competitive basketball in the NBA. 4 months ago weren't playing competitive basketball in the NBA. We understood that going in. I think overall we've liked those players at different stages in our organization. So this opportunity presented itself to get them around us and see if we can get them in the fold and how they can help us.
All right, we've got last question from Brian Lewis.
Hey, Jacque. This is just a follow-up. You had touched on Karras and how he's kind of taking some steps forward as a leader. I'm just curious, was that natural maturation as a young man, or is that something where you and the staff kind of have been pushing him to step outside his comfort zone and be a little more vocal, a little more authoritative?
I think it's overall a little bit of both, Brian. As an organization, we've always tried to, be keen on growing the different individuals on our team. And as an organization, I think we saw this was an area that was could help Karis now and in the future, whether it was what our roster looked like previously or whether it's what our roster looks like going forward. So that leadership, and it goes along with keeping guys accountable. It goes along with the communication. It goes along with being okay taking criticism. Like that's a part of leadership. So Karis has really grown in those areas, and I think it's a natural maturation as well. The fact that he is more comfortable in his skin as an individual. You saw that from some of the participation during some of the protests and the march. It's just at a different level in his life, and I think that just goes with growing up and having more years in the league and being more comfortable in who you are as an individual.
Coach, thank you for your time. Appreciate you.
Hey, you got it. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
Yes, go ahead.